War Thunder's latest update, Air Superiority, has been rather abruptly released, and we got some buffs, some nerfs, a really unfortunate big nerf, and so much more. So make sure to stick around till the end so you don't miss any of it. And don't worry, unlike the new Abrams Premium, this is not clickbait. And speaking of it, Gaijin even hid an Easter egg somewhere in its model, but more on that later. And first off is a feature that you probably didn't know you needed, that being ATGM sights for light tanks that have multiple weapons, with a full list being shown on screen now. And on its own, this change would substantially buff some vehicles with ATGMs, or at least those that got the sight this time around. But Gaijin clearly thought of this, because at the same time, they're also making it possible to ammo rack certain ATGM launchers that weren't before. And speaking of things that got nerfed, the Italian Arietes all got hit with weight increases, and some of them are rather substantial. Like, talk about kicking someone while they're down. While most other nations got a shiny new top-tier MBT, Italy just gets a big fat nerf. And as is tradition by this point for War Thunder updates, Gaijin has once again made several changes to the audio and visuals of the game. And I will say, the changes seem pretty bug-free this time around. And my favorite is definitely the new fire effects. You could even say that they are quite lit. Just like the new volcano map for air battles. Actually, a volcano being lit might be a bad thing. And while top-tier gameplay has been the focus of this update, it's not just about new vehicles, as top-tier tanks also received a brand new feature, Spall liners. In case the name doesn't make it obvious, it catches some of the spalling particles generated by penetrating hits on armor. What might not be as obvious is the fact that the liners get degraded after being hit, so don't expect them to work after taking multiple shots in the same area. And from what I've heard so far, the feature is very controversial, so if you've had a chance to play it, be sure to let me know what you think of it in the comments. I'm gonna reserve my own judgment until I have a bit more time to play around with it. And all of these shiny new rank 8 tanks now come with APFSDS shells as stock, which should make stock grinding at top tier a lot less frustrating. And in case you enjoy suffering, HeatFS shells are also still available at stock. Actually, who am I kidding? War Thunder players have a higher than average chance of being masochists. So you know what? Use that HeatFS. And next up, we have a couple of really nice quality of life changes. In ground battles, destroyed enemies now show a skull icon in their area when they die. It's a pretty nice change, as it lets you quickly tell whether an enemy is dead or just on fire in the heat of battle. Gaijin has also streamlined the use of universal and other backups, as you can now use them directly in battle. So gone are the days of forgetting to apply a backup to a vehicle that you're grinding or anything like that. And according to this thread I saw on Reddit, the feature doesn't seem to be working entirely as planned, but at least their heart is in the right place. And that's not all for quality of life changes, because Gaijin also added Identify Friend or Foe capability to certain top-tier aircraft RWRs, which means that you no longer have to listen to the orchestra of RWR returns from all of your teammates. Oh, look, is that a new French top-tier jet? Wait, it's also meta? This just can't be. I'm surely seeing things. Must be some sort of a mirage. Jokes aside, you may have noticed that decals are disappearing from other players' vehicles, because since the update, decals on other player vehicles are no longer visible unless you explicitly opt in using an option. While I do understand why they did it, and offering this option is also a good change for people that don't want to see some rather questionable art, it is interesting that they decided to turn it off by default. And we also have several new voice lines, and I have asked around, and apparently the Argentinian ones are quite well done.
Tanque, 5 en punto. Alcance, 750. Carguen perforación de blindaje.
On the other hand, the new voice warning system for Chinese jets is widely considered to be pretty mediocre. Oh, and I guess it's finally time to address the Easter egg that I teased in the intro. So the lawn chair on top of the M1A1 clickbait has a broken armrest. And this is not a bug or a mistake, because according to the dev stream, it's quite possibly a reference to a broken office chair at Gaijin's Karlsruhe office.
I would like to believe that it's a reference to our streams.
That poor armrest has been crippled by intense moments.
And that's it for this video. And for those of you who are curious about hidden changes from other updates, maybe check out the one on the previous update, Kings of Battle.